Hi friends, it's Julia. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Today I'm sharing 5 cards that I've made with my Halloween 2019 stash. I had gone through my stash, pulled out every single one of my Halloween supplies and created cards with them. And so here I am. I've already done a lot of the work ahead of time. I've kind of pre-planned. I have stamped and punched out. I have stamped and die cut out the little monsters, as well as pulled in the different stickers and combinations of things that I'm going to use on other cards that I have pulled together. So here I've got the first 5 cards, the trick or treat cards, and then I'll get to the others a little later. But you'll see the process of making the beginnings of more cards than just these 5 cards. But towards the end of the video, as I'm going through, I think you're just going to see the first 5. I've decided I am going to ink up around the square there that I have the trick or treat and the monsters on, and I'm going to pop those up on adhesive foam to give it a little extra dimension. And that foam is pretty thin. It's not the 3M kind. It's a knockoff brand that was available on Amazon, and it works just as well as the other. My Cutter Bee scissors don't cut it very well. It gets gooey and gummy, and there's nothing on my Cutter Bee scissors. But these ones that I have from Fiskars that I just recently purchased, they work really well with this one. So, yeah. So there I am. I'm inking the edges up to create these little squares that will go on the front of the cards that I'm going to create. And I know this is a longer beginning because I'm making the fronts, the embellished pieces for the fronts of multiple cards here. But when I get on a roll, this is part of my creative process. I might do all of this on one day and then the next day do the actual cards themselves. And I don't remember. It's been a little bit since I have made these cards, so I don't remember if that's exactly what I did. What I did was I batch made all of the Halloween stuff that I was going to make with my kit so that, you know, it would all be together and ready for the Halloween season. And then, of course, by the time I'm editing these and posting them, they're already made and put away. All the cards are in their envelopes, addressed and ready to be mailed out. So here I pulled in some googly eyes that I had, and those are just purchased, I think, from the Dollar Tree. I have the black ones in that clear container up to the top, and then in the green top container, I have colored googly eyes. So they're pretty fun, and I think most kids like googly eyes, so yeah, I'm making it work. So I had a great time pulling out all of my stash this year to create these cards and layouts. And I love being able to pull my stash and use it up. And I feel like this year I have used up so much of the Halloween supplies that I have. But I had also purchased quite a few new things for Halloween. And I'll show you what's left as we get a little bit farther into the month. I'll show you, or maybe not the end of this month, but maybe like the 1st of November or something, I'll show you what I have left over of this kit. So now I'm moving on to the card fronts of some other cards. And there I'm just doing the stamping and I'm pulling in the different embellishments. You can see I had a 6x6 paper pad that had those little ghost shapes on them as a cut apart. And so I fussy cut that orange one. And I'm going to use it there with a textured sticker. It's an old K & Company sticker, I believe. And there I'm just trying to see if I'm going to use something there in the middle. And I opt not to. And so I'm just prepping the backgrounds and card. I'm just prepping these to go on the cards themselves. I trim them down and I keep them on that cream color background and just ink the edges. That is a sticker pack that has been in my stash for a long while. Excuse me. And so here I am. I'm using, you know, some of the supplies that I have, or some of the additional stickers that I have there. I'm not 100% crazy about how I put that spider on sideways from the opposite corner of where I have the web. And I was going to try and change it up, but that adhesive on there is super duper sticky and it doesn't want to come down or come off. So I just left it. It's fine. These are not uber fancy cards. They're fun cards, and they're, to me, they're dressed up cards. They're not just plain and simple cards. I mean, I think they're going to turn out nice. So I like, if I have a little flub here and there, I'm okay with it. I don't think anybody else is going to notice it like I do. I may be completely off base with that, but that's kind of how I feel. There again, that little sticker set I've had in my stash for a while, and I'm glad to get some of that used up. I think I just have like one little star left on that little carrier sheet. And I love these Day of the Dead sugar skulls. I think they are so stinking cute. And I love that I've actually got to use them on a card here. And I'm just, you know, going through the process of stamping out images and things that I'm going to use with these cards. And not just the ones with the little monsters on them. I'm doing stuff for all of the cards I'm creating. And so it made this video a little bit longer than it normally would have been for just 5 cards. Do you guys do that? Do you go through and make bulk cards? I watch Christy Marcotte's videos a lot. I love the process that she goes through by taking a 6x6 paper pad and creating, you know, dozens of cards with them. And I love that process because sometimes when I am using a kit and I get down to the scraps of the kit, I think I have too much to get rid of. And so I want to make cards, or like with this, with my stash, I pulled in a 6x6 paper pad, as well as an 8x8 paper pad. And so I felt the need to get those used up, or mostly used up. And so that really feels good when I can do that and create cards like Christy Marcotte does in bulk. And so there, I even bought a that Tonic Tim Holtz, it's Tim Holtz 4 Tonic, I guess, trimmer there, and I absolutely love it. And it gives me some of the finer cuts that my paper trimmer doesn't allow. You know, those blades on that paper trimmer really, they dull up pretty quick, especially if you use it for more than just paper. Like if you use it for chipboard or anything, which I occasionally do. It really dulls those blades out and you go through a ton of them. So now I'm looking through my paper pad there, and that is the 6x6. And I'm just going through, I've chosen a pattern that Christy Marcotte has on one of her blog cards that she creates. Whenever she does a video, guys, she will link her blog post that coordinates with that video, and it gives you all of the dimensions of the papers that she's using, as well as the images of the cards. And so I always like taking those sketches that she uses, that she creates with all the measurements on them, and creating my own. And so here you can see I've got everything cut out like I wanted. I have all the paper cut, not necessarily all to the sizes that I need, and so I go back through and I do a little bit more trimming and get them to better sizes, and then I start lining everything up. This really is, once you get to this part, this was the really quick part of the entire thing. And I did not place the place everything exactly like Christy Marcotte's little sketch had it, but I feel like the way that I did it, it works pretty good. And there I'm fooling around with things to see what I've done, what I need to do differently in order to get what I want done. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I get a little frustrated with myself and how I do things. I think the way that I had that, everything was too bumpy and too bulky. And so I needed to go through and cut that piece in half before I put it down. And I feel like that made it much more manageable. Unfortunately, you can't see, like on that one with the spider web, you can't see as much of it. So I have everything, all the paper scraps laid down, and now I'm going through and I'm stamping the sentiments. And don't worry, I'll show you here in just a minute what the inside of the, or what the cards look like when they're completely done. I'm just going through, and for these first 5 cards, I go through and I put the same sentiment on all 5. And that's the secret right there when you are using Close to My Heart ink and stamps. If you will make sure that your stamp pad is good and juicy, and then once you lift your ink onto your stamp, when you stamp it down on the paper, if you will hold it there for a minute, it's almost like it forces the ink into the paper in that specific location, and you get a really clean stamped image on there, almost like a rubber stamp. But if you don't do it that way on every single one, your images might be a little shadowed or shaded and not 100% covered. And that's an old stamp pad, but I didn't feel the need to get a newer one in that color because that one, it still works. So I haven't replaced it. So guys, I sure appreciate you stopping by my blog, my YouTube channel and visiting with me. And I love the comments that you leave down in the bottom. I don't always get back to the comments, but I always read them and give you a thumbs up when I have read them. I work full time, so sometimes getting back on and making, additional comments is a little bit tough. But when you leave me links to different places, I try to go over and see. And I've gotten a few messages from people telling me, rather than posting on the actual YouTube video comments, they will post a message to me where they have left different things, maybe their YouTube channel or their blog post or their Facebook group that they're in where they post, or their Flickr account. And so I really appreciate that because I love to go over and look and see what you guys are creating. And I so appreciate you coming over here and watching my videos and even subscribing to me. I'm just amazed at the number of people who are inspired by what I do and what I create. And I hope and pray that I am an inspiration to all of you who are watching. If so, please remember, throw me a thumbs up, flip me a thumbs up, or, subscribe if you're interested. I love to see everybody participate with using their stash. I mean, that's what keeps our hobby going, right? Is using what we have and creating, not necessarily just the buying of products, but the creating with those products. And I sure appreciate you guys stopping by. You can see I've done all of my stamping on the inside of my card as well on the front, as well as the front of my envelope. And there I'm just adding a little sparkle on the inside of my cards by putting that glitter tape down. And it's pretty old. It's Recollections, and I've had it forever. And I'm glad to be able to finally use some of that up this year. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.